Welcome to the Leadership Purpose with Robin podcast. I'm your host, Robin L. Owens, PhD, and this is where we dive in each week to give advice, tools, and tips for high-achieving women leaders, and we talk about leadership purpose and its importance for you. I am a college professor, and when I am not doing that, I am speaking, writing, coaching, mentoring, and teaching high-achieving women leaders how to find, and not only find, but how to stay in alignment with their leadership purpose so they can make a meaningful difference right there in their career, leadership, or business. Okay, let's dive in. Hi, everybody. It's Robin Owens, and I'm back today with Peggy Bell. She's the best-selling author of the book Life After Loss for Widows, Lifting the Veil of Grief. She's a midlife coach who specializes in helping women in midlife who are ready to move past loss from widowhood or divorce to a place of renewed joy and purpose. And welcome, Peggy Bell.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I'm so glad to be able to talk to you, especially knowing that your work is about helping women get in touch with a renewed sense of joy and purpose, and because you're just an all-around fabulous person. So I'm glad you're here today.
Thank you. I feel the same about you.
Thank you. All right. So I know a little bit more about you, but for those who don't, tell us a little more about who you are and the work you do.
I'm a retired teacher. I taught for 40 years and I was looking forward to retirement. I couldn't wait till retirement. Actually counted down the days, literally. And then once it got here, I found out it really wasn't meant for me. I had been working since I was 14 and suddenly just staying home just didn't resonate with me. So I went back to writing. That's when I started writing this book, Life After Loss for Widows. And in the process, I found out about life coaching. I was so consumed with the education part of my career that I had never even heard of life coaching. So realized that and speaking all went together, and I could still do teaching because I loved to teach, but it would just be a different type of teaching. And so I became a life coach right before my 60th birthday. That was my goal, to open my business and start life coaching along with speaking. And I wrote another book in the process of getting it released. So just staying busy in my second career now.
Yes, that's a whole new meaning to retirement. Yes, you're doing things that you enjoy and learning that you can help in ways that you hadn't thought about while you were teaching. So I think that's great. What do you enjoy most about your work? And tell us why.
The thing I enjoy most is just seeing that I can help someone. I was widowed myself back in 2009, and the pain and the grief that I went through was just horrific. As anybody that's gone through it can attest to. And you really have to just go through the grief. It's not anything that you can just sidestep. And so if I can help them in any way understand that what they're feeling is normal, how to deal with the loss, how to deal with when these things pop up, what I call grief eruptions, and just get them on their way to be where they need to be. And then take them from there when they're ready to move on and show them that renewed joy and purpose. That's what I love the most about it.
Sounds like you're really committed to really making a difference for others.
Yeah. And although I was never divorced, I see that women who are divorced have a lot of the same emotions. They go through the same things because it's a loss in its own. It's a loss of a marriage. It's a loss sometimes of finances and social circles and losing friends that you had as a couple. And so you feel a lot of the same things. And so that's why I work with widows and women who are divorced.
And you said something interesting, grief eruptions. I've not heard that term before.
I call them grief eruptions because when you're going through the grief process, you can have a good day and things are going fine. And then all of a sudden, one little thing, it might be a song you hear on the radio, or you may be passing and smell the scent of cologne of something that he used to wear. And all of a sudden, that day that started out as a good day, just something triggered it. And the grief starts all over again. And you feel like you're going backward. And so that's a natural thing to feel. And I just call them grief eruptions because they come out of nowhere. And I work with them to try to deal with that.
Yeah, they sort of erupt out of nowhere. So yeah, helpful to think about it in that way. Now, based on your experience and what you're doing, you gave us some helpful hints already about understanding these grief eruptions. But what's something else you would say to high achieving women who are experiencing some sort of loss, whether it's divorce, death, and going through grief from your experience and expertise? What would you say to them?
They're still going to have to take time to grieve. Like I said, you can't sidestep it and have your whole life consumed with your work, because sooner or later it's going to come back to you. And these eruptions are going to come when you least expect it. So grief is just something that you have to deal with. For some, there's no timeline, there's no expiration date on when it'll be over. In a way, you're always grieving, but you deal with it. And even, if you're in a high position in your career, you still have to have time to do that. It's going to change who you are, and you have to recognize that.
Yeah, that's important to know. That's important to know. And, my own work has to do with leadership purpose. And so when I say that term, leadership purpose, what comes to your mind?
I think we're all given a purpose in life. And I think we all need to go out and find that purpose. So once we find our purpose or our calling, to be able to do it in the best way possible and to let your gifts shine to the world so that they can embrace it, they can benefit from it. To me, that's what leadership purpose is.
Yeah, I just light up just hearing you talk about it, because when I think about it, it just taps into my own kind of energy about it. Okay. So do you think it's important for somebody to have a leadership purpose?
Yes, because like I said, I think we all have a purpose, and we need to go out and make it the best we can make it. There are people that need our gifts, either by way of service or product or whatever it is, and we can help them. And there's so many people that never live out their purpose. They live their life according to someone else's desires instead of their own. And they never truly live their purpose. And they go to the grave regretting their life. And to me, that's incredibly sad. So yeah, find your purpose. I think we all have one, and live it the best we can. Yeah. And as women, I think we need to support each other when we're doing that, because we don't support each other enough, in my opinion, as women. We need to lift each other up. There's enough success out there for everybody.
Yeah, and I think conversations like this is a form of support, and we are involved in that, women supporting other women. I mean, men too, but all right, we're having a wonderful conversation, but we can't cover it all right now in the time that we have. So if people want to hear more from you and how to handle maybe these grief eruptions or other forms of grief that they're experiencing, how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. My email address is easy to remember. It's peggybellcoaching@gmail.com. You can contact me with any questions. I have a Facebook group for widows. That's more of a ministry. And then I just started a new Facebook group that I invite anybody in who is 40 or over, who feel like they want to get more out of life. They feel stuck. They want to start and transition into things for better, whether it's a career change or lifestyle change. It's called Life Redefined for Women 40 plus. And I invite you to come in there. It's a new group, but I have big plans for it. Want to get guest speakers and make it interactive. And so I'm looking forward to getting as many women in there as possible. Again, it's Life Redefined for Women 40 plus.
That sounds great. It sounds like a good place to be. And I already have a sense that it's going to be a place that's really making a difference for the women who are in that group. Well, Peggy Bell, it's been a joy speaking with you and getting a little bit of more insight and wisdom from your experience. I'm hoping we have continued conversations, and I wish you all success in your continued work.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay. Bye now. Bye, everybody. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Leadership Purpose with Robin podcast. If you enjoyed it, head on over and rate and subscribe so you never miss an episode. New episodes drop every week, and I can't wait to hang out with you again soon. Meanwhile, this is Robin signing off. See you next time.